blockbuster trade from the NBA. The Rockets sending James Harden to the Nets in a 4-team deal, completing the unhappy Stars' exit from Houston and setting up a potential super team in Brooklyn. All of this yesterday, according to our Woj and Ramona Shelburne. Here's the breakdown of the whole trade. Harden lands with the Nets, obviously. The Rockets get a package that includes Victor Oladipo, 4 first-round picks, and 4 first-round swaps. The general consensus was they did very well here. Indiana, meanwhile, gets Karis LeVert. Cleveland gets Jarrett Allen and Taurean Prince, and so jam-packed it is. And let's bring in the man himself. That's Adrian Wojnarowski. And so, Woj, you were with me here yesterday after Harden sounded off after that loss to the Lakers. How did we get from where they were then to Harden being a part now of this super team in Brooklyn?
Greeny, when James Harden talked after that loss to the Lakers 2 nights ago, he did so knowing that talks had escalated between the Rockets and both the Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers. And what you saw Harden do was try to orchestrate from his end, kind of give a little bit of a push to the Rockets organization to get the deal done, get a trade completed. And they were pretty far down the line with Brooklyn as of that moment. And I think once Brooklyn's owner, Joe Tsai, got fully on board, understood what this trade package would mean for his organization, and they had Cleveland on board as part of a 3-way, then the deal got done yesterday. Although, Philadelphia was very much in the bidding for James Harden, but ultimately the Nets did not want to be denied. They really wanted James Harden and felt like they needed James Harden, especially because of the uncertainty that surrounds Kyrie Irving and their organization right now.
Right. Well, so that's the obvious place to go next. People will view this as a super team because they have the 3 superstars, but at least for the moment, they only have the 2. They have KD and James Harden. What, if anything, should we expect this to do to the Kyrie Irving situation?
It gives the Nets leverage on Kyrie Irving and in his future in Brooklyn, because now because ultimately what this is about for the Nets is the future of Kevin Durant. And free agency comes up quickly again, at the end of next season. All 3 of these players could be free agents, but most importantly for the Nets, Kevin Durant. And they've got to know that they're going to be able to be in position to re-sign him and have at least one significant running mate moving forward with him. And James Harden allows them to have that. These 2 players really hatched the idea of getting Harden to the Nets in the offseason when they were working out in L.A. And while I think the immediate expectation is that Kyrie Irving is going to be a part of this, that he will return here at some point, Brooklyn now knows that they have James Harden and much more certainty with him and partnering with Kevin Durant. And we'll see what this means for Kyrie's future with the Nets.
Doesn't seem it's going to be anytime especially soon either way. Woj, outstanding, as always. Thank you. Let me bring in the big fella. Kendrick Perkins is ready to go this morning. Perk, what was your very first reaction when you saw the news yesterday? Woj breaking it on Twitter. What was your very first reaction when you saw the deal?
Man, that Sean Marks and the Brooklyn organization was like, hold on, we already filed a missing person report on Kyrie Irving, and we haven't heard from him. So let's call Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and get us some insurance in James Harden. And that's why they traded for him, Greeny, because they don't know what's going on in Kyrie Irving's head. No one knows. Here it is. We're not even 15 games in the season, and no one can find him. And he's already left the team and already is being a distraction. So looking at this right now, you're adding James Harden. This is the problem that I have with this team now that they added James Harden is that Kevin Durant is going to be the Batman. James Harden is going to be the Robin. Can Kyrie Irving handle being Alfred? And I don't know that. So this is an insurance policy to say, you know what? We don't know what to expect from Kyrie Irving down the line, but here we go. We got us another superstar, an MVP-type player to pair along with Kevin Durant, just in case Kyrie Irving decides to pull the MIA act again.
So let's live in a world, though, where the three of them are on the same team. At some point here, I think we could assume that the three of them will play together. You were a part of a super team in Boston. Some might say the first super team with Paul Pierce and Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett. So you've seen how those pieces fit together. How would you envision these three pieces fitting together?
Well, Greeny, think about it, right? They're going to have so much offensive power. The word that comes to mind is sacrifice, and that's going to come on Steve Nash. All those guys going to respect Steve Nash and when he identifies their role. Like I said, KD being the Batman, James Harden being the Robin, and Kyrie being the Alfred. And then when you look at it on the defensive end, Greeny, no team has won a championship without being top five in the defensively. Even the Golden State Warriors, when KD joined them, they were top 3 in the league defensively. So sacrifice and defense is what my concern is about this team when those three step on the court, if they step on the court together.
Yeah. One other very quick thing I want to ask you about, because I love your Twitter feed, and you had a very interesting tweet last night that I want to share with everyone who did not get a chance to see it. Let's put that up if we can. You tweeted, "I don't need to be convinced that Bron is the GOAT. It's stamped. But if this Nets team can make it out of the East and Bron takes care of them, he's the undisputed GOAT. Beating 2 super teams today is greater than 6-0 in the 90s. Carry on." That's what you said last night. Give me a quick thought on that, Big Perk.
Well, because, Greeny, I knew you was watching. I know you was watching. Stephen A. was watching. That was for Jalen Rose, and that was for all the old heads. Because if the Nets get past the Boston Celtics and the Philadelphia 76ers, and they meet up with the Lakers in the finals, I don't want to hear nothing about the GOAT conversation no more from none of you guys, okay? I love you, Greeny, but I don't want to hear it after that.
Well, look, I got you. If he beats Batman and Robin and Alfred, then I guess I'll have to agree. Well done. Great to see you, Big Perk. I appreciate it. His Twitter feed is awesome. Meanwhile, my Twitter feed has today's poll question. Right now, you can go to @ESPN Greeny and answer this question. After the big trade yesterday, who you got winning the East? It's that simple. Nets, Sixers, Bucks, Celtics. Cast your vote. We'll keep it up through the radio show today.
There's a lot more people in here today. It's a good win, especially we talked about it last night. We want to finish the second half of the back-to-back, and especially with a team that's right across the bridge from us. And we know what that rivalry is like, and we know how the intensity that this team plays with and at home. So we really wanted this game tonight, and everybody played like it. And from top to bottom, it was a great effort.
Given the news today, your reaction to, losing teammates in Karras and Jarrett and Torian, but also welcoming in, a teammate in James Harden?
I heard that's not even finalized yet, so I'll talk about it another time.
Brian Lewis with the New York Post.
Hey, Kevin, was this any kind of barometer for you? I know playing back-to-back was something you wanted to get to the point where you could do. 36 minutes, I think, the other night, 30 some odd tonight after having to come back in late. Was that a big step for you?
Yeah, most definitely. I wanted to see how my body felt this morning, how I felt after the game last night, and I was just trying to monitor everything leading up into the game, and obviously throughout the game, and I felt good. So hopefully, I know I keep building on it, and as the season goes along, I continue to keep getting stronger and more. And get used to the game again, a schedule to travel, everything. So this was a good step.
Greg Logan with Newsday.
Kevin, you've been at such a tremendous level the whole season, but the rest of the team has been kind of up and down. Without getting into the details of the events of today, do you think this team is approaching a point where, even though there's a lot of hard work ahead, that you'll be able to focus and know what to expect coming in the future and be able to work through some of these issues that you've had as a team?
Well, yeah, I think everybody has throughout the league is trying to work out the kinks and figure out their lineups and rotations and stuff. And we're no different. And I think moving forward, I mean, we will always make adjustments and try to get better every single day. That's always been the goal. And try not to worry too much about the future. Just focus on what's in front of us today.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Hey, Kevin, I know you don't want to get into things until they are official, but looking into the past, what was it like to play with James? What do you remember about him as a teammate? Because you have played together.
It was fun.
Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Kevin, what do you think of Reggie Perry's game? He got an extended run with you guys. I think he started at 4 for 4.
Yeah, love what Reggie brought today. You got a dog over there, Julius Randle, who we told him to just guard up. We're not going to send too much help, and I think he did a solid job of just putting the body in front of him and also rebounding the ball and finishing around the rim. And he hit a 3 tonight too. So, Reggie, plays like a seasoned veteran almost, it feels like, but he's still learning every single day. But he has that toughness that's going to allow him to go out there and make good plays when he's on the floor.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Kevin, given the history between the Nets and the Knicks, does this win have any different feeling in terms of just the rivalry standpoint? And since there's no fans, did that kind of just take away from the experience of what it's like to play at the Garden?
Most definitely. I mean, and having no fans in these arenas are taking away the whole NBA experience for sure. But the Mecca of basketball, the Garden, and for them not to have fans, and especially with this rivalry and how much tension between both teams, amongst both teams' fan bases, definitely missed the fans out there tonight. And I'm sure they would have gave them an extra push as they would try to get back into the game. But, down the line, I know these battles are going to be tough, no matter what each team's record is. It's just the fact that, it's about New York City right now. Brooklyn Nets and the New York Knicks is always going to be a good draw. So it's a good step for us. And, we know this team, the Knicks are going to come back even better next game.
Bruce Beck with NBC Sports.
Kevin, you've had a laser focus since game one. Is it about being healthy? Is it about being a professional? Is it about just winning? How would you describe that?
Just trying to be the best I can each possession and each rep. I've been always trying to take that approach as a pro, and and then you got guys around you who have that same approach and love for the game, and just is making me better, and hopefully I'm rubbing off on my teammates well.
Thanks so much, Kevin. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Well, we'll take a look at the Land Rover player of the game. It is indeed Kevin Durant. 26 points on 10 of 18 shooting, 6 assists, 3 of 5 from deep. And you heard him say